I'd like to introduce you to Ingrid, Brian's ex-girlfriend.
One of many.
Horny guy.
Oh my God, Joey.
Joe is a horny guy.
At the end of the day, I know I can find a way to make her life better, even if she hates me. It's okay that everything is my fault.
And that's how she felt, but I'm so happy that we didn't do anything because there's a connection. There's a sexual connection that I didn't want there. Virgin Mary that has 2 babies by 2 fathers. Why did 2 daddies leave you before the baby was 1?
We have reached the final tell-all, y'all, and let this be a warning to all of us. Sometimes when we date, we meet a few of these evils. There's the guy that will only tell you the truth when you ask him the right way. The one that will apologize after doing something bad to you, but then will keep doing it again and again, but he's sorry. And then there's the guy that will cry when he gets called out, and when that doesn't work, he will use every vulnerable piece of information you have ever told him against you. May a love like this never find us. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, the Tell-All Part 4. Finally, we have reached the end. It has been juicy, don't get me wrong, but 4 weeks of this back to back, it really could have been just sent in an email. And I think we're gonna get like a week break because of the Super Bowl, and then we jump straight into a brand new season of 90 Day Fiancé. Brand new set of people with messy situations for us to get into. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm definitely gonna be covering it. I have to figure out like a set schedule for you guys because I feel like now I just post whenever I can because of work, but I would like a bit of a schedule, so I'm gonna workshop that and get back to you. But in the meantime, I don't want you guys to miss out on any of my videos, so make sure to hit the bell icon so you are alerted when I post. While you're here, make sure to give this video a like because it really does help, and let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive straight in. We pick up with Faith and Lauren. They're just gonna wrap it up real quick. It's Faith being like, it's a no, because everyone basically pressured her to give an answer on what she's gonna do with Lauren. Listen, it is a decision that needs to be made. I'm with you. I just don't like the idea that she was kind of like put on the spot and forced to do it before she was ready. But then again, it can be argued if she wasn't pushed, she was never going to do it. But even as she's saying no, I don't believe her. And I know she wasn't ready, and I know that she's going to go back to that man because she is ugly crying, okay? She is like, she wasn't ready. And Sean doesn't really want to deal with it. And she's like, yeah, it's time for a break. And Lauren, again, like, he has presented himself in a very despicable way, and he's not doing himself any favors online in the aftermath of this show. But I can count on like one hand the few occasions where I feel like he's showing like true feeling. He's in this green room about to burst, talking to Vanya. He's just like, yeah, you know, like if that's what she wants, like I'll have to respect it, but you know, like it sucks. I am still confused at the fact that he's confused that she was feeling conflicted about the relationship, because again, I feel like she has made it clear ever since they were in the Philippines, she was still processing his cheating, that she was still processing the fact that he's homeless. She was processing the fact that the way that he leads his life is very reckless, you know? So I don't know if I believed the fact that he was so confused about that, you know? But he starts bawling his eyes out, and Vanya's there to console him. But I don't know, you guys. I don't think that he's crying just because of Faith. I think that being the main person in the hot seat at a tell-all is not for the weak. So I think that him crying was really just a release of like, damn, like I was a punching bag. Not saying he didn't earn it. I'm just saying that that is not easy, okay? And I feel like there are a few other people that deserve that treatment. Let's roll into Brian, who's next, and deserves that. And I don't think he got it as much as I needed it to, because I was yelling at my TV, you guys, yelling. I was like fighting back. I was like speaking for Sean because he just says a lot of slick shit and I'm not with it. So when they get to Brian, they play a never before scene of him like a few days after him and Ingrid broke up. However, he talks so much that I think it's easy to miss certain details. He says that a few days ago, when it looked like him and Ingrid would be over, translation, him and Ingrid were still together, he was just in the doghouse. So while him and Ingrid were still together, but he was being pissy that she wasn't sleeping with him, he decided to get back on one of those like online dating sites in Brazil. So he was already looking for his next lay while he was trying to figure out if Ingrid was going to give it up or not. See what I mean when I say that there is no redemption for that man? So he was already setting his sights around. He was setting out traps. So when they officially broke up, I'm guessing like that night, he went out on the prowl and decided to meet up with someone that he met on that app. Let me tell you right now, that person, bless her heart, but that person looked like she was on the job. That was not somebody that was willy-nilly trying to be with him just cuz. She was on the job, okay? And this man is... Ugh. You guys don't understand how much I am holding back from unleashing. I want to call out, y'all, that a few things. Brian's disappointment when he found out that his date's age was like not in her 30s. She was closer to him in her 40s. He was disappointed but was trying to play it off. And then also, he took the opportunity to be like, yeah, I'm 51. I have nothing to hide. See? It was such a clear performance because his ass got caught lying to Ingrid a million times. Like, sir, you literally lied on the apps. You admitted that you lied on the apps. What are you trying to prove? But anyway, this guy is at the bar with this lady and he's interrogating her like, are you okay with my wheelchair? Like, what were your thoughts? This man really wanted to be a problem. The way that he questions people, it doesn't feel like a genuine thing. I feel like he wants people to stroke his ego. He wants his chair to be a big deal. Because even when someone tells him like they're okay with it or like it's new for them, he's like, yeah, you sure? Like, yeah. And I understand that he's probably had many different experiences, reactions from people. But even when someone seems like they genuinely don't mind, obviously they saw your pictures, they agreed to meet you, he never wants to believe them. He wants it to be a problem so bad. And we saw it with Ingrid. And it's almost like he wants to catch you in a trap. Like if you say you're okay and then you don't help him, then like you're a liar. Instead of it being a thing that like is a learning curve. But anyway, he's with this lady who looks like a lady of the night. She's killing it in this dress. And they're doing like a confessional, like a couple's confessional. And he's like, yeah, you know, like I feel more of a connection with her in an hour than I felt with Ingrid in weeks. And I just think that that cheapens the whole experience that you had with Ingrid. You can't compare the two. Ingrid was taking her time because she was trying to build a relationship with you. This lady and you are just trying to hook up. So everyone's like, wow, okay. Like you can't say that people move on fast because you move on fast. And he casually is like, yeah, you know, we spent the next 2 nights together, the next 2 days together. She stayed at my apartment. I watched this back and I was like, Brian is such a passport bro. They need to ban him from Brazil because what's this? Like the 20th woman that he has slept with in Brazil? They obviously ask Ingrid what her thoughts are and she's trying to be classy about it. She's like, you know what? Like, if this is what he wants to do, he wants to stab me in the back and he's happy, congrats. Then we learn that his new girlfriend, aka his new victim, is this young woman from Colombia. Because again, that night, he was just trying to get it in. He was trying to get his fix. His new victim and him have been together for like 8 months. They've met because apparently like she has family in Chicago. So bring this girl out and she's, you know, another beautiful Brazilian. She looks like a nice girl. I love that she didn't hold back in this segment. But immediately they bring her in. Sean, can I just say, Sean put on her battery pack somewhere along part 3. And she has it strapped in for part 4, okay? Sean is like, hi, Nappy. This is Brian's ex-girlfriend, Ingrid. Like, have you guys met? Y'all, I was so heated as I was watching this that initially when I heard, oh, she's one of many girlfriends, I thought Brian said it to invalidate Ingrid, to basically like downplay it all in front of his girlfriend. But now, after rewatching it, I realized that it was Niles who said that, which I think is hilarious, but also Niles, shut up. It is funny because yes, it's true. Brian has loyalty to no one. He's been with many people. It was funny. And I was too busy yelling on my TV in this moment, but I think Ingrid was like giving this young woman advice, basically like only something like, I think she was getting at Brian's like temperament and also being like, only help him if he asks you for help. Like basically don't be his little bitch, you know? And I should have replayed it back, but I didn't. But Nati responds saying that she has noticed that he has anger issues. And did you guys peep that Brian starts like shushing her with his gestures? And it's funny because yes, Adnan is terrible for different reasons, but the way that Brian was like nitpicking everything Adnan was doing when he is like the worst of the worst, the new girlie expands, not the expands, that, you know, he nitpicks on what she wears. And he's like, yeah, because she was wearing barely nothing, being on guys' backs. And of course, he paints it like she's the worst. Y'all, and initially I thought she was like on some bodybuilder competitions, that she was in a bikini, that she was just letting it all hang. That is how Brian depicted this. When they flashed the photo on the screen, Mama is wearing gym gear. She is wearing athleisure. She is wearing like clothes that you wear in your house. She is covered. She is clothed. This is like a CrossFit competition. And she looks like she's a strong girl, okay? So she probably wins these a lot. This pose is not giving, I want to make out with you in the back. This is not giving any of that. Brian is just atrocious, and I can only imagine how bad he made her feel about this photo. Can you believe that he is on this screen being like, specifically he says, you know, not my girlfriend, no girlfriend of mine would dress like that, because if I see that you're posing like that, then I'm gonna realize, wow, you're not who I thought you were. That's not who you said you were gonna be. And I just think it's comical that the man that has lied about every single part of his existence has the balls to even say that. Like, are you not embarrassed? Are you not ashamed? Point is, she's like, nothing that I'm doing is sexual. So, and it's funny because they keep asking her like what she likes about Brian, but everything she's saying is like a red flag. And I hope that she watches this back and is like, why am I with this man? Because she's like, you know, yeah, he's a nice guy, but he lies a lot. He's a nice guy, but we fight a lot. Okay, so what's nice about him? Because I can't see it. So when Sean questions him, like, so what do you lie about? Like, have you been lying about being with women? Brian does the thing that he was doing with Ingrid, where he's like, how could she not know about my age? Everyone that knows me knows my age because I talk to everyone so much. I overshare. Everyone that knows me knows that. So this time, he's like, everyone that knows me knows that no one knows me more than Nati. So, like, that's crazy to me. But Nati's like, you're a liar. I know that you were out with other women while I was in Chicago. So, like, God knows what you do when I'm not there. He claims that it's like a friend that he was driving around. Here's the thing. I don't trust Uber drivers. I have seen so many videos of Uber drivers talking to like 3 girlfriends within the same car ride. So, Brian, I honestly don't know how he gets so many women. That needs to be studied. Like, that man is truly a menace on wheels. And like, it's funny because he thinks that like, if someone doesn't like him, it has to be because of his wheelchair. And there are many people with different disabilities that get plenty of play, that are beautiful inside and out. And I think with Brian, he's not ugly. So that's how he hooks people, and he can be charming. But that charm, that facade, fades away real fast because then you start to see how pushy he is. Yeah, it's funny because he started this whole show being like, yeah, like my wheelchair, like it holds me back from meeting the love of my life. And then we meet him and we're like, no, actually your entire personality is what's blocking you from greatness. But anyway, Nati is giving us points of like why she doesn't trust him, to which of course he diverts blame. He's like, no, it couldn't possibly be me. It's just that Nati's jealous. And Sean is on him. She's like, so you've never lied to Nati? And he's like, well, I can't say I never lied. And she's like, so you never lied to Nati about women? And he's like, no. And Sean is like, are you sure? And honestly, I don't know if Nati will stay with him after this because she's like, I want someone that respects me, and Brian doesn't. To which I don't know why Sean is just like, so how's the intimacy? Because intimacy was an issue. But this is where it gets hilarious for me because I'm like, oof, I hope that Nati is listening. Nati says that intimacy with them is obviously different, but she didn't feel pressured. She felt like he was being nice about it. But they've been at it a few times, it sounds like, right? So of course he's not going to be nasty because he has gotten what he wants, you know? I feel like she would see a different side of him if she didn't give in. And that is what Ingrid like said to her. Because as Nati is like, yeah, he didn't pressure me, Ingrid is like, you sure about that? You sure about that? And she says, she's like, that was not my experience. So interesting. Y'all, so as Nati is saying that she had this pleasant experience with Brian, Ingrid, she's not saying this in a combative way, but she's just like, she can't believe her ears. She's like, Brian, all he did was pressure me. So it's interesting that this was your experience. And she wasn't being a hater. She was just like, oh my God, like, you didn't have to undergo the trauma that I went through. Good, right? But as she's saying that, Brian is talking on the side, being like, is she jealous? Like, is she jealous or something? Brian, Ingrid does not want you. What she wanted was to be treated like a human being, okay? And then this man is like, well, maybe Nati wanted me more than I wanted her. Maybe she initiated things. How about that? And he's like, you know what? I'm so glad that nothing happened with Ingrid because, you know, at the end of the day, I really didn't even want that with her. I didn't want to be intimate with her. That's why it didn't happen. Sir, why is he trying to rewrite history? Why is he so disgusting at every turn? Like, he didn't have to be. Ingrid wasn't being nasty. She was saying facts. She was stating facts. He applied pressure. He's like, no, I would never do that. Sir, it is on camera. We saw how disgusting you would act when she wouldn't want to kiss you, when she wouldn't want to be intimate too soon, when you didn't have a condom and wanted to put your little dingaling inside of her after you've been with all of Brazil. You know, this is why I think Nati's gonna break up with him. Nati's like, you know, I mean, there is more of Brian that I need to get to know. Basically, like, she's picking up what everyone else is putting down. She's like, yeah, I guess I don't know him like I thought. To which Ingrid is such a hell of a woman because she is still so graceful throughout all of this. And again, I love that she never made Nati like the enemy because it has nothing to do with any of the women that come into Brian's life. The problem is Brian. Ingrid is like, listen, like, we all have different experiences. We all have different like expectations. What might have not been okay for me might be okay for her, and that's okay. She is giving him a lesson in what class is. And because Brian doesn't have a lick of class or integrity or anything in his body, he uses every opportunity to throw digs at her, and we will get to that. But we have reached the point of the evening where Brian, he's not getting enough sympathy for his liking. So he's like, you know, everyone is talking crap about me going too fast, but like, I have peers of mine that could get a blood clot and pass away. So, you know, like, I don't have time to waste. Again, you're making this about your condition when that isn't the issue here. And the issue here isn't even his timeline. It is perfectly fine for you to want someone that moves at your pace. Just because you are on this YOLO tip doesn't make it okay for you to be a predator to women. Doesn't make it okay for you to apply pressure when you are not getting your needs met. If you are not getting your needs met, you get out. But you don't then manipulate women. You don't then drag said women that you said you cared about reputation through the mud. You don't get to do that. That's not what a good person does. So I will never feel bad for you. He's saying all of these things like it's going to make everything he's done okay. You can live your life to the fullest and still be a good person. So anyway, everything he's saying made me feel nothing, and seeing Ingrid's reactions was just like, she was giving us all the facial expressions. She barely spoke, but her face, it was a story. Let's move on to Joe and Magda because Joe... Joe is the epitome. I don't know where I've seen it before. Honestly, this is not a good like comparison, but it's the best one that I could come up with. You know when like your dog has made a mess, like let's say you walk into the bathroom and like they've torn up all the toilet paper and you're like, and they stay still, almost like if they stay still, they're invisible. And you're like yelling at them and they're like, maybe if I'm quiet, she'll go away and won't notice me. That was Joe throughout most of this segment. It was cracking me up. He did not do himself any favors, but let's get into it, okay? So when they put Joe back on, they're like, hey, Joe, so you have a lot of friends. And we invited them, and they were eager at first. And then all of a sudden, it seems like they rescinded their yes. That's odd, right? And I think Sean was implying, did you not want them to come on? Did you tell them to back out? Did you think that they were going to overshare? To which Joe is like, interesting. And the way that Sean is asking questions, it lets us know that she knows something. She is trying to give him an opportunity to own up to it before she just spills it. So they play an extended clip of that scene that we saw at the pool party with all of his friends, including Jill, his ex-girlfriend from like 6 years ago. And in the original clip, he's like, yeah, she's super jealous. Yeah, she doesn't know that like Jill and I have been together because that would be a whole thing. But then in the extended clip, the other girl that was there, she's like, yeah, well, Joe is the horniest guy I know. He's hooked up with everybody. Like, I can't imagine a girl coming here trying to marry him and being okay with it. To which the guy that's with her in the scene is like, didn't you hook up with Joe? And she's like, yeah, we did. Magda's watching this and she's like, and the girl's name is Stephanie. So Magda's like, Joe, let me make sure I'm understanding. Did you have schmecks with Stephanie? And this is where he stays still. I don't know why you are being silent for so long, because Stephanie already blew your cover. Why would she lie about hooking up with you? Why would you do that? You could see him trying to find a way to get out of this. And he's like, oh, like we just kissed. And Vanya's like, hooking up does not mean just kissing. You know what hooking up means. And Magda's not yelling, but you could see that she feels betrayed. And she's like, Joe? So at this point, everyone's like, yo, like, just say the truth. And Joe is like, well, it was just so long ago. Like, it's not a factor. And here's the thing. I get it. Everyone has a past. Magda's intense, yes. But Magda has asked you to let her know who you have hooked up with in your friend group. Because she's going to step into this world. And I'm with her in that, like, I would never want to step into a room with a bunch of my man's exes where they feel like, like she has no idea. No, I want to be all knowing. Prepare me for any room that I'm about to enter. Have my back. And I think that that's why Magda's upset. And that's pretty understandable because she's here making friends with people and she doesn't really know like what their intentions are. Like, it's just, why would you leave her in the dark? It's not fair. I understand what Joe is saying, that like these are his only friends and he feels like if Magda knows that like he's hooked up with a few, that she's gonna basically be like, you can't be friends with them. And he moved from Jersey, I think, right? He's from Jersey. He moved from Jersey. He lives in Florida. These are his only like community in Florida, so he doesn't want to lose them. But then you're willing to risk your relationship? There could have been a better way to navigate this so that you can still have both. If anything, I feel like you continuing to lie about it is putting it in jeopardy to have both. You could have just been honest. And I think that's the problem, that it's not like it never came up. Magda has asked him multiple times directly, who have you hooked up with that is still in your orbit? So him saying that it's not a factor, sir, it's a factor. So Magda looks so defeated, and you could tell that like she doesn't really want to keep getting into it on camera, so she kind of like shuts down. But Sean is locked and loaded. She's like, so you had schmecks with Jill and Stephanie, correct? Like, she wants to make sure that he confirms it right at the tell-all, and he's like, yes. And it's so interesting because Joe looks more pissed than Magda. And he probably feels exposed. He's probably pissed at his friends for like admitting it. Like, he probably told them not to, but they were all drinking and stuff. But if anyone's going to be upset, I feel like it should be the person that was lied to, you know? And Magda is very upset, but she's really trying hard not to yell. She's doing breathing exercises on camera. Like, She's really fighting the tears. And she reiterates, she's like, I've asked him so many times, like, why does he keep lying to me? Like, how am I supposed to trust him? How am I supposed to go to America when he has slept with everybody? But that's literally the end of like the on-set tell-all. And when Joe leaves the stage, he immediately calls Magda because he's trying to do like a temperature check. And he's like, hi babe, how are you? And it's like, you literally proved in front of everyone that you are a liar. You've embarrassed me. You've embarrassed me. Like, how do you think I'm doing, you know? But Magda is not a woman of many words because she is fuming. And so he's like, you know what? I'll call you when I get to the hotel. And he like starts grabbing his things and like heads out. He's not trying to linger around like everyone else. He is done. We see Magda talking to the producers and she is like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I love him, but he's a liar. And she's like asking if the supermarket is still open because she needs vodka. Like, it's not going to be a fun night for anyone, you know? Everyone is taking their time backstage, talking crap about Joe's reaction. For some reason, Loren and Brian keep talking about, like, Joe's lack of maturity. And I'm just like, y'all are the last people that should be giving seminars on maturity. So please keep it mute. Joe is making a run for it. Okay, he's grabbed his things. He still has his suit on. He is out the door. I'm guessing the producers are like, Vanya, go to him. She tries to like question him, like, why are you going so fast? Is it because of this? And he's like, I'm not doing this. Sorry. And he goes to the car. Like, he could see it from a mile away that they were trying to squeeze out camera time. And he was done. I mean, my take on Joe, I just feel like he is still in his bachelor era. And I think that he needs to be honest with himself and honest with Magda. He has made too many promises that he cannot keep. And I think that he could one day be a good partner. I just don't think that that day is today. Magda needs to continue living life. I think that she wraps her life and identity around men very quickly. And I just want her to live her life. Like, she's so young. We get a quick check-in with Sunny and Vea. Sunny's like, yeah, you know, I love her. We're gonna live our lives together. To which Vea's like, yeah, I thought Sunny knew that I wasn't gonna convert. So like, that's interesting that we're not over that. These two really need to never get married. But also, I just want to insert here, this is like outside tea. I was just watching the Moving Mad channel before I started recording this. And there's like a 5-minute video with proof that Vea got married to that dog walker dude during the time of this tell-all. So I'm like, I don't know what to believe. How did you get married when you're in the middle of paperwork to get Sunny here on the K1 visa? Like, which one is the lie? Which one is the truth? But yeah, I just had to drop this in because I think it just adds to the confusion of like, what is going on? But anyway, back to the tell-all last moment. Vanya thinks that she's made friends out of this. I don't know who she thinks is her friend aside from Niles. But she's feeling optimistic that everyone's gonna leave this tell-all for the better. Except Adnan, she says, which she's right. Adnan believes that he didn't stir the drama, that he was being a truth teller, which like, Tiger Lily is like, I don't have Stockholm Syndrome. Everyone thinks that. I'm just not an extrovert like my husband. I hope you have the lives that you deserve. And that's where I'm gonna leave that. I hope we never see Adnan and Khaleesi ever again. Niles is reflecting on his anger issues. He's like, yeah, I definitely acted my age. Niles, I love you. You do need to work on the anger issues, period. Loren and Faith, I feel like, are keeping the door open to get back together. And I honestly think that if there's an opportunity for them to get a check from 90 Day, they will definitely keep milking this. But also, Loren is being like this weird martyr where he's like, if I can be there to make her life better, even if she hates me, then I want to be that for her. Sir, how about you focus on making your own life better? How about you get yourself a nice job with benefits? How about you get yourself a place to stay that's not a friend's couch? How about you pay the child support that you owe? How about you have a better relationship with your kiddos? Like, there is so much that could be done, but I don't think he cares to do what is right, personally. And then to wrap this up, Brian, he's on my shit list forever. Like, I don't want to see half of these people, more than half of these people, ever again on screen. But specifically Brian, I never want to see that man again. Because while Ingrid took the high road for most of this tell-all, even though she could have dragged him to filth. She kept it cute. But this man, because he's wrong and he's low down and dirty, he wants to bring her down to his level. And everything that he uses against her only makes him look crustier. Brian, for some reason, is like, Ingrid is no angel because, she had 2 baby daddies, and like they both left her. So it makes you think, why did they leave her? That's not normal. She must have scared them away. And I have a few thoughts about that. Single moms, single dads, they exist everywhere for a plethora of reasons. It doesn't seem like she's complaining about her life. She is a successful woman in her career, and she's doing just fine taking care of her 2 kids. And you tried to come in and wreck it. So you're mad that she didn't let you be a wrecking ball in her life. That's one. 2, Brian is very dangerous because all of the things that he's doing to Ingrid, if she had low self-esteem, it would wreck her. Everything that he says is so damaging. And while she is strong and she has made it through, these are 2 things that have been hard for her. Being a single mom is not easy. And she's probably like let him in on like the challenges that comes with that. So for him to then sit here and be like, yeah, there must be something wrong with her. That's BS, because you knew that she was a single mom of 2 kids when you pursued her, when you stayed with her, when you flew to Brazil to try to get her to marry you, to try to get her to sleep with you. Her being a single mom of 2 kids wasn't a problem then, but it's a problem now because she's of no use to you. You're disgusting. I hope that Nati watches all of this back and just realizes that anything she says can be used against her. He will use any bit of trauma that she lets him in on against her. It's just wild to me that he's talking about red flags when he is the embodiment of what a red flag is. People like that never change, In his eyes, he will always be the victim. And when I see him speak, I get a glimpse of who he was before, his circumstance. And I'm just like, the fact that your wheelchair hasn't even slowed you down, like you were a bad person then and you are an even worse person now. No words, just no words. But yeah, you guys, that was the end of the tell-all. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, please do hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any videos, because I always make a video on The Last Resort. Love is Blind is coming up. I'll be posting about that. And of course, the new season of 90 Day Fiancé. So there's a lot to cover. I'm really excited. That was it, you guys. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your week. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.